Welcome back to Prime Time. Well, we seem to have talked education to a standstill. We've got our politicians here to talk about the events of the week. Hekia, I was thinking back, it is not since you were under fire that I've seen a government minister have so much pressure on her to resign. Could I ask you what you would do if you were Judith Collins this week?
Well, I'm not Judith Collins, so I couldn't and wouldn't answer for her.
Do you think she has behaved wisely or unwisely?
Look, that's a topic that's been well interrogated this week, and you know, the Prime Minister has given his response on that, and I'm satisfied with that.
You got any advice for her? Because you did write it out.
Look, it takes a lot of resilience, you know, when everything is focused on you, and you know, when you're deemed to be the one that should be stepping up on different things. And politics is a tough business to be in.
Chris Hipkins, if David Cunliffe was Prime Minister and you were a minister and he said, I think Chris Hipkins is unwise, would you take that as a signal that you're out of there?
Oh, it'd certainly be a pretty big warning sign, and I think John Key said that Judith Collins is unwise on multiple occasions. Look, the reality is when I got into politics, I made a decision that if I had something to say, I would say it, I'd put my name to it, and I wouldn't hide behind pseudonyms or anonymous bloggers. I think the people that do that are gutless and completely lacking in integrity.
Hekia, do you think the fact that at the moment this election campaign's been hijacked by an anonymous person leaking private emails, does that concern you?
Yeah, it does, just generally, because I think that it is absolutely distracting us from the kinds of issues we've been debating here tonight. And there are a number of issues that are important for New Zealanders: the state and direction of our economy, housing, employment, you know, education and so forth. And I think in the run-up to an election, New Zealand voters deserve the opportunity to hear what we've got to say on those and where we disagree.
Equally, have you in your time in the Key administration been aware, or has it been generally known, that you people have had an inside line into some blogs? That there were places you could put stories that were favourable to the government if you wanted to?
Look, I've been had my head fully in education, as you've been able to see on the media. So, you know, it's not something that I've been generally aware of.
What about you, Chris Hipkins? Have Labor sat there and said, how does the National Party do it? I mean, you've got your own blog sites, haven't you?
I've never seen anything quite like this. Look, I think this is a big distraction from the campaign. I'd rather be debating the issues. But the reality is some of this is actually serious stuff.
You probably need to tell Phil Goff that, don't you?
Well, this is serious stuff, and I think Phil Goff has every right to be aggrieved. If the government spy agency is acting in a political manner to undermine the Leader of the Opposition, that's something all New Zealanders should be concerned about.
All right, I just want to haul it back to one issue that's been kicking around a little bit. We've talked about it before, Chris Hipkins. Compulsory te reo in schools. Aspirational goal for Labor?
I think at longer term I would like to see te reo Māori much more widely available in schools. I've said to you before that I'd love to have learned te reo Māori when I was at school, and I would still like to learn it now, and I hope that sometime soon I'll get the chance to do that.
Hekia Parata, would you do it if, say, you needed the Māori Party and they wanted it?
Oh, look, that's something, of course, that would take place in discussions, but my own view on this is quite a settled view. I learnt Māori as a language at school, and I am now a fluent second language speaker in Māori. But it's very clear that second languages are most successfully picked up when you are motivated. Compulsion is absolutely the opposite to motivation. I think in New Zealand we're doing a pretty good job of creating an environment where New Zealanders want to become bilingual and trilingual.
And I think we can both agree you should be allowed to use it if you're serving in a yoghurt shop.
Kia ora.
Right? Kia ora to you both. Thank you, Hekia. Thank you, Chris. We will be back after the break with news on our competition winners.